Now that my current game is nearly ready, I finally have free time to do some game jams. Last time was GMTK 2023, wow, that's a long time ago. So it was about time that I joined another one. That's why I participated in the GMTK 2024, and this time in a team of two, one developer and one other developer. Yeah, for the art we'll do what we can. This year the theme was Build to Scale. Like always in GMTK Jams, this theme is really interesting, but also quite challenging. As developers, we were naturally drawn toward mathematics ideas. Yes, we can do scaling algorithms with numbers and recursive rules. One idea we had that sparked our interest was the infinite repetition of a pattern in every direction on different scales. This would create fractals that intersect with each other, forming a complex, irregular layout. There was two kinds of games that we envisioned that could use that concept. A city builder, where each building you create is repeated infinitely on a grid, or a shooter, where your projectiles are repeated in every direction. We eventually chose to iterate on the latter, because shooting infinite bullets and moving between them sounded pretty fun. We quickly built a first prototype. We had a ship that could shoot projectiles that would repeat on an infinite grid plane. The player could change the ship's size to navigate between different scales with bullets of varying size and speed. This already looked kinda neat. Seeing all the bullets flying everywhere was satisfying. They kinda looked like School of Fish, don't you think? We also accidentally activated the bloom effect and oh my god, it looks instantly cool now. But the question is now, what do we do with that? What is the actual game? We saw two interesting directions. Navigate through the infinite sea of projectiles and try to avoid them, or find spots where bullets intersect the most and use them strategically. We kinda wanted a game that would combine both of these aspects. But how could we achieve it? See, those two gameplays conflict with each other. One is about traveling and exploring, the other about staying the most at the same optimized place. So there was no way around it. We had to separate the game into two distinct phases, exploring and collecting. We had a lot of back and forth to figure out how to structure that exactly. We even almost went back to City Builder's mechanics, but eventually we found the missing piece that could link the two gameplay together. Extraction Zone. It solved a lot of our design questions. What is the goal of explorations? Finding the next extraction zone. When are the projectiles hostiles and when must they be collected? When you are outside or inside the zone. And what do you do in the zone? You gather energy that allows you to grow one level up, and then you repeat the loop. Perfect! The game final design though didn't come at us immediately, because we had a big issue to solve first. How will we make the player understand all these rules? At first glance they are bizarre and difficult to explain. You shoot bullets, but they are hurting you, and they are infinite of different size. You have to avoid them, except when you have to catch them, and the size affects the amount of damage or energy you get, so you must be careful of the intersections. And why exactly? What are you doing here? Are you a ship exploring space, or building a base? What is this energy you collect? What is it for? Can you use it? Step by step, we had to make every aspect of our design intuitive. And retrospectively, we followed one guideline. Simplify everything. The player can only do one action, moving the ship, nothing else. There are two bars on screen, a health bar and an energy bar. They are never active at the same time. The extraction zones are just limited in time. No extra resource, no building, no strategic choice, just stay in there until it's gone, then you move on. That doesn't mean that there isn't some complex balancing rules under the hood, but the player is not aware of all the details. They just know that smaller bullets mean smaller impact. This minimalism in interaction allowed us to have a very short tutorial, made of two verbs, avoid and catch. There's not even shooting anymore. There are cannons that do that all by themselves. What are these cannons, by the way? Are they friends or enemies? Are they shooting at us or helping us? Do we trigger the shooting? What are they even shooting exactly? Here is the second problem of our game. It's totally abstract. The world doesn't make any actual sense. We don't know why we are here, we don't know what we are doing, what we are collecting, to what end. There is no real reason why the projectiles are sometimes dangerous and sometimes a resource. This is a pure game world, like Tetris, Go, or one of our aesthetic reference, Geometry Wars. Each rules make sense in a game, but not in a narrative. And thus, to make them understandable to players, we can't rely on figurative explanations. Our main tools are thus visuals and feedbacks. First, we ditched the black empty space for a lighter visual style. Goodbye Bloom Effect, you will be missed. Our new inspirations were Etienne Jacob, Dave White and Inglet. And so we adopted a plotter art look that gives a stronger identity to the game and more consistency to the world. On top of that, we had to make sure that every mechanics and actions are strongly emphasized. Bullets change color to show their effect. Extraction zones stick out to encourage the player to come inside them, and their inner texture depletes to show their timer. And when the game mode changes between exploring and collecting, the music changes, the colors change, and the player moves even slower to make them play differently. When you get hit, there are also visible particle effects and an unpleasant noise, but when you're collecting, you see a halo around you and hear a nice charging sound. All these strong feedbacks help the player understand better the rules than if we had to explain them. At all times, they can see what's going on and what their goal is, even though it's an abstract universe. With all that, we were able to finish our game powered by geometry and submit it in time. I'm glad I'm still able to complete a jam, and also happy to have had the experience of working in a team. We made a game that is pretty short and simple and has a weird difficulty balance, but its game design is functional and apparently pleasant. From an abstract mathematics idea, we were able to shape an actually fun game with art and music that holds its own against other entries. You can try it out right in your browser. However, this experience made me realize that although making abstract game may seem like cutting costs in asset creation, it comes with extra challenges to make your game intuitive and appealing. Maybe for my next games I should try to have a more figurative mindset. Anyway, this was my GMTK Jam 2024 story. Thank you for watching.